It's 3 in the morning on the Bering Sea. The wind is screaming. The waves are taller than the boat. You haven't slept in 2 days. Your hands don't work anymore. And the deck is a sheet of black ice. And then, through all of it, you hear a voice. Calm, clear. A woman's voice right behind you at the railing, calling your name. You turn around. There's no one there. There's nothing but 40 feet of freezing black water. In the black water of the Bering Sea, they call her the Siren. And the men who follow her voice don't always come back. To understand the legend, you have to understand the place. Dutch Harbor on the island of Unalaska sits more than 800 miles from mainland Alaska, far out along the Aleutian chain, a thin string of volcanic islands reaching toward Russia. It's one of the most isolated inhabited places in America. About 4,000 people, almost no trees, wind that never stops, and fog that can swallow the whole island for weeks. It's also the busiest fishing port in the United States, home of the Bering Sea crab fleet. But long before the boats, these islands belonged to the Unangan, the Aleut people, who have read these waters for thousands of years. And the Unangan have always said the sea here is not empty. It listens, and sometimes it answers. There is a reason the Bering Sea breeds ghost stories. For decades, crab fishing here was the deadliest job in America, dozens of times more lethal than any other job in the country. During some seasons, a fisherman died roughly once a week. 73 men were lost in this fleet in a single decade. And it's how they died that matters. Most weren't killed by one dramatic wave. They simply went over the side, in the dark, in the cold, often with no one seeing them go. One moment a man is on deck, the next the railing is empty and the sea has him. Now picture that world, no sleep, killing cold, total exhaustion, and a crewmate who can vanish in a heartbeat without a sound. That is the world the voice lives in. But some of the men who almost went over the side say they didn't fall. They were called. Ask enough Bering Sea fishermen and you'll hear the same story, told a dozen different ways. A voice, almost always a woman's, that comes in on the worst nights, when the fog is thickest and the wind is loudest. It doesn't shout, it's calm, gentle, and it knows your name. Some men say it sounds like a wife, a mother, someone they've lost. The danger is what it makes you do. Fishermen have described hearing a voice cry out from the rail and being certain a crewmate had gone overboard, rushing to the side, leaning out over that black water to look, before the rest of the crew pulled them back. They were reaching for someone who was never there. The old Unangan stories run in the same direction. Spirits in the fog and the surf, voices on the wind, things that call to people who wander too far out into the wild. And the warning, passed down for generations, that out here you do not always answer when the sea calls your name. The fishermen call her the Siren, and on the Aleutian chain, that's not a story they tell for fun, it's a rule. Whether it's an ancient spirit or something inside the human mind, the result is the same. So what is it? Science actually has a chillingly good explanation, and it doesn't make the voice less real, just more human. Push a brain past its limits, no sleep for days, brutal cold, total exhaustion, and it starts to misfire. In sleep deprivation studies, about a third of people begin to hallucinate, and hearing is one of the first senses to break. There's even a documented effect where, on the edge of sleep, people clearly hear a voice call their name that was never spoken. Survivors of extreme conditions, climbers, sailors, the lost, report something stranger still, a calm, comforting presence. Sometimes a voice that appears when the body is closest to collapse. Scientists call it the third man. The exhausted brain out of options builds a companion to keep you alive. So maybe the Siren is exactly that. A sleepless, freezing mind conjuring a voice out of the wind. But here's the part that keeps the fishermen quiet. That explanation says the voice comes when you're closest to death, which means out on the Bering Sea, when you finally hear her calling your name, she might be telling you the truth. The Unangan knew it. The fishermen know it. The sea out here is not empty. So if you're ever on a boat in the Aleutian dark and you hear a calm voice behind you at the railing calling your name, don't answer. And whatever you do, don't look over the side. The far north is full of voices like this one. Subscribe to Vanished North and tell me, have you ever heard something out there that shouldn't have been there?